Hi, this is Kristen here with another process video, and today I'm going to be doing my layout based on this paper issue sketch. I'm going to actually try some mixed media, and so this is a stencil I purchased from Amazon. Has kind of like a paint splatter appearance, and so I'm just going and rubbing some black ink onto it. I'm not super comfortable with mixed media, but I like how it looks. I just don't do it very often, so I never feel super comfortable with it. This is speckled egg distress oxide, so I'm going to just use the packaging technique on this, and then I also do end up adding some paint splatters with that as well. So here comes a little bit of additional paint in here. It's really light. I don't feel like you can see it that much. In person, you could definitely see it a lot more, but I feel like on camera it doesn't show very well. And I feel like I could use some more paint on there, so I do end up like stamping directly on there and adding water. This is cracked shutters, I believe, or something like that. Or shabby shutters, I think. And so I'm just going to add that in with the packaging technique. I was trying to get these arrows colors mimicked because my intention was to use these arrows on this part. I decided because the green almost came off as a little bit more like a neon green, I did end up pivoting and choosing to do something a little bit different here. And here's where I'm applying the ink directly to the paper. Now this paper had been prepped, and it's also the Vicki Boutin's mixed media paper, so it's really thick, so you can really kind of put some stuff on there without it warping too much. I do, after I let it dry, I do end up putting it through my laminator a couple times just to kind of flatten it out. Now this is paper from Vicki Boutin's new Flower Emporium line. I decided I wanted some kind of a border around this, and so I went ahead and cut it and adhered it down. And here I'm just going to start working with some of the pieces from her line. And the gear piece is actually from Some Assemblage Required. I purchased that back kind of around Christmas time and hadn't thought of a good use for it yet. And so I wanted to document this picture that I took of my son on Easter. He's a huge gamer, so the Easter Bunny brought him a shirt that said I went outside, and the graphics weren't that good or great. And I kind of feel like gears, they just kind of make me think of boys. So I thought maybe I could use that in replacement of the arrows. And so I'm going to start to throw down some pieces here on top of the layout that I think would work well with it, or pieces that I like and think I could make work. The wood veneer piece says almost the exact same wording as my son's t-shirt, so I was like, that's perfect. That has to go on this page for sure. And that also came from Some Assemblage Required. And I cannot remember if that was, because you can buy kits or you can buy like separate pieces, and I think that might have been a separate piece I purchased. Although I'm not sure, it might have come in a kit. And so I'm just going through all these Vicki Boutin pieces from Flower Emporium, separating them out, kind of, throwing them on here and there where I think that they might work. Now I wanted to get some flowers in this layout because, outside, I kind of wanted to get some kind of outside element put on this page. And initially I think I want the wood veneer on the side, but I didn't want to cover up the envelope as much as I was covering it up. So I do kind of pivot and change that positioning of that piece. I decided I'm going to use the gears instead of the arrows over on this side. And I contemplated painting those gears, but then I just decided, let's just leave them alone. I didn't want to end up, messing them up or something. I liked the look of them, and so I just felt like I was going to just leave them be. So this is my second layout using the Flower Emporium line, and I am so happy to finally get at least a little bit of florals on this one. So my goal is for the next layout I complete to really focus heavy on florals and work with those pretty florals a little bit more. I didn't feel like this layout called for it, and for some reason I feel like too, like when I'm doing masculine layouts, I don't really think to use a lot of floral on there, which I don't know why. I just tend to kind of gravitate away from that a little bit. So here is where you see me switch that veneer piece over to this side. I felt like it just made more sense over here. And I also pull on some more gears that were part of this chipboard piece that came from some assemblage required. The button that you see me putting on the envelope also was from some assemblage required, and I think that came in a kit. The wood arrow piece that you see up there actually came from Hip Kit, I believe. It was part of a Hip Kit club set, and I don't remember. I think that might have been like a summer set, so maybe like July of last year or something like that. These little bunnies I had to work in here. These are from the Color Rush Studios April kit, and because this was an Easter present, that's the reason why I felt like I had to get some Easter bunnies on there, just to kind of pull that aspect into it. But I wanted to go with like some real neutral. I didn't want it to be like super obvious, but they're like just little fabric bunnies. Now with those pieces, I do end up having to hot glue those down. So I'm going to start getting things glued down here. Get that cluster on the right side. I end up starting to get some of this glued down over here, get the photograph down, and then I decided before I got that floral piece down, I was like, oh, I really kind of want to add some stitching around the border. So now you see where I had stitched around the border. That wasn't like a planned idea, so I would have done that before I started putting the right cluster, but I just felt like it needed it, and so unfortunately, it doesn't go all the way through the cluster because those are big wood pieces that, and then chipboard pieces that I obviously couldn't, go over with the sewing machine. So the stitching on that side's a little bit incomplete, but, it's distressed, and unless you're really looking at it, I don't think you would really even notice it. So these are some rub-ons here. I just felt like I wanted to add a little bit more mixed media here. And so this was part of the Flower Emporium set. And I kind of felt like I needed a little bit more dark blue on here because I had that dark blue sticker or ticket up there. And I was going to also pull in some dark blue button pieces or chipboard pieces. And I just kind of felt like just to kind of play off that a little bit more, I needed a little bit more of that. These are some paint splotches that were also included in the rub-on set. So you're just going to see me start to add a little bit of that. These are stickers that came from the Flower Emporium set. And I end up adding it down here because I felt like that label looked a little barren. Now, I felt like I needed something underneath this arrow. I don't know why. I just felt like it looked a little incomplete there. So I added that sticker. And then I'm going to go around and add a bunch of paint splatters on, excuse me. And it's the same colors that I used at the beginning, the Distress Oxides. I wanted to add some twine down here, so that's what I'm doing with this tag. And then I just add a little bit of journaling. Really, it's not journaling, it's just putting who's in the picture in the year. And here are some close-ups of it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. When I first started it, I wasn't real sure how the end product was gonna be, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I appreciate you coming by to watch my videos. Please like and subscribe if you like coming by and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back with another layout.